Hey guys, welcome back to BigRedEDC, and welcome to this edition of JB on EDC. In this topic, I kind of wanted to talk about lemons. It kind of started out as, who's responsible for when you buy a lemon, and then I was like, well, I should probably expound on that a little bit and kind of talk about what I consider a lemon to be. Lemon being, a bad knife. So, I tell you what, let's go to the tabletop and we'll start the discussion there. All right, be right back. All right, guys. Well, like I said in the intro, I wasn't going to make you look at me too long, but I did. I kind of wanted to talk about, a bad knife, or as we like to call them, if you buy a bad car, right, it's a lemon. That's kind of what I was going for there. But what happens when you buy a lemon of a knife? Who's responsible? What do you do? And what do I really consider a lemon? And that's probably where I should start. What do I consider a lemon? Now, trust me, guys, none of these on the table are knives that I consider lemons. Honestly, I don't really have them anymore because the very few that I've gotten, I pretty much don't have anymore for one reason or another. But obviously, if you're going to buy an expensive knife like a Spyderco, a Benchmade, or something like that, something that's going to cost you a little bit of money, and you get it and it doesn't operate properly. Well, what does that mean? Operate properly. Well, if it's because there's several things you can do to, quote unquote, fix a knife. Maybe the pivot's just a little too tight. Back the pivot off a little bit, and it gets to be a lot more smooth. It'll operate, more like you want it to. I mean, that's definitely not a lemon. But, if you would get a knife like this and it's got some sort of, I did have a pretty expensive knife at one point in time. We'll hold the name to protect the innocent or the guilty, however you want to look at it, that actually had a crack in the blade. That is definitely a lemon. Not quite sure how that got out, but anyway, it happens. And something like that, I contacted the company and I'm like, hey, this is not good. And they were like, you're right, it's not. We'll get you a new one. Okay, fine. But simple things like tight pivots or something like that. I have had one that came with a messed up pocket clip. Oh, they sent me a new pocket clip, and that's good. That's kind of a lemon. If you get a knife that's just not, what I have to say, you consider brand new out of the box, and there's some sort of defect with it. Now, if it's sold as a second, and there's a minor defect, okay, that's something that's completely different. If it's sold as a second, and you're buying a second, knowing that it's going to have, hopefully a minor defect. We see our good friends over at RoseCraft Blades. They sell seconds all the time, and it's hard to tell what makes it a second. But if you look really hard or you ask them, they'll say, oh, yeah, looky there. Okay, if you consider that a second. All right. But, it really does come down to you. So what do I consider a second? Okay. Well, anything, like if I buy a Spyderco and it's like kind of wonky off center, I'll do what I can to see if it's going to be centered. But if you're paying $150 for a knife or whatever the case may be, it should come centered. That's just, I don't think I'll get too much argument from that. But, I'll do what I can. If I can't get it to center, I'll get in touch with the company and see what we can do from there. Now, if I buy a knife like this Rough Rider, and, Rough Riders, you're talking 12, 15 bucks, a lot of times. That's pretty much a standard price for them. I don't expect this knife to be perfect when I get it. Like you see there's some minor gapping there on the liners. Do I consider that a second? Not even remotely. It's a $12 knife. I know what I'm buying. I know I'm probably not going to get an absolutely perfect knife. Now, on the flip side of that, most of the time, especially, oh wow, I don't even know, last 2-3 years at least, pretty much all the Rough Riders that I have bought have been pretty darn good. Absolutely. But if I buy a Rough Rider, even if it's a little off center, I'm not going to be too mad at that. You can see this blade, it's a little off center. Now, if I open it up, do we have any rubbing going on? No, doesn't look like it. So again, I'm not going to be mad. I'm just not, because I know I'm only spending $12. Now, you guys know that what I've dealt with case. Now, not in this one. This is pretty. Now this, even looky here. I mean, we've got some gapping going on here. This one actually came in a box. I wasn't too mad at it. You know, I'm not overly happy with it because, you know, this is kind of a special knife. They're showcasing all their year markers, right? So, yeah, here's another one where I'm probably going to badmouth case a little bit. But you guys know my Rustlock story. Those of you that have been around the channel, and if you don't know the Rustlock story, I've got an entire playlist. You know, if you're talking about an $85 knife that comes off-center with horrendous gapping, that's a lemon. I don't think I need to tell you that. Some people I may need to tell. Some of the case fanboys out there, I may need to tell. But it's true. It's true. That is definitely a lemon. Now, where's my line? Where's my line in the sand? You know, if I'm paying, if I'm paying even $40 to $50 a knife, that sucker should be pretty darn good. And, you know, companies like RoseCraft Blades have proven that that's the way it should be. So that's kind of, I'm not mad at a $12 Rough Rider. Would I be mad if I got, and I know I wouldn't. Trust me, I know I wouldn't. But let's say I paid $55 for a RoseCraft Blades. Not buying a second, buying a regular price knife, and it came, and it had some pretty decent gapping on it. I'd probably be a little bit miffed. Okay? Now, back to the Rough Riders for a second. This is actually the second one of these. This is the Copper series. I really like this series. Nice teardrop. Nice spear point. The first one I got of these, it did not close all the way. Okay? It was sitting, I gotta find the nail nick. I can't find it on the blade. When it closed, it was sitting kind of roughly right about there. And with that tip of the blade is exposed. Now, I don't care if I pay $50, $100, or $12 for a knife. If it is inherently dangerous, it's a lemon. I don't care. It should be a safe knife. So, what did I do? Called Smoky Mountain Knife Works right away, told them what the issue was, and they were like, no problem, we'll get you a new one out right away. Very, very good. So, okay, kind of explained what I kind of consider a lemon. So now, okay, you discovered you've got a lemon. What do? Well, like I did on this, this is a Rough Rider knife. This is a Smoky Mountain Knife Works brand, right? They own the brand. They're the retailer. Okay, I called them up right away and said, hey, this knife, I know I only paid $12 for it. It's inherently dangerous because it doesn't close all the way and the blade is exposed. Like I said, boom, they were on top of it, said, no problem, we'll get you a new one out right away. At that point in time, I even asked them, do you want this one back? And they were like, no. Okay, very good. So, boom, got it. Got a knife, got a safe knife. Very good. Taken care of. All right, now and this is going to substitute for the rust lock because I don't have it anymore. I got a case knife. And you guys, like I said, you remember, right? You remember. It was way off center. This one's pretty good. And the gapping was horrible on it. Terrible, terrible, terrible gapping. Like I said, go watch that playlist if you want to check out and just see what I'm talking about. So at that point in time, when I got the case knife, and I got it from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Well, in my opinion, Case is not a Smoky Mountain Knife Works brand. Sure, could I have returned it to Smoky Mountain and asked for a replacement since they were the retailer? Absolutely. I could have done that. Okay? In my opinion, that was not Smoky Mountain Knife Works' issue. Because I don't expect, I mean, they sell how many knives a day? I don't even know. I'm pretty sure it's in the hundreds. Hundreds of knives a day online. If you combine the online and the store, it could be thousands. I really don't know. So, in my opinion, that was not a Smoky Mountain Knife Works problem. That was a Case Knives problem. So, and being that I'm doing the YouTube channel, I thought, okay, that would be a great opportunity to take care of, or to check out Case's warranty options. How they proceed in their warranty process. And that's what that playlist is all about. You'll see all the way through the process and the severe disappointment at the end. So in that aspect, when, like I said, Rough Rider, Smoky Mountain Knife Works they're the brand owner, they're the retailer, it's all them. That's why I went back to Smoky Mountain Knife Works for that one. When it came down to the Case knife, Case, has this warranty. It's supposed to be a great warranty. Okay, let's try it. Wasn't so great for me. So there you go. Spyderco, Benchmade with their Life Sharp. I've used Benchmade's Life Sharp on my meat crafter especially. Used it a couple of times. It's great. It's fantastic. Works wonders. You use your Benchmades heavily. You can send them in if it's, if the blade's bad enough, they might even reblade it for you. Maybe for a small cost, something like a blade or something like that. The Life Sharp is free. They'll sharpen it for free and send it back to you. No issues. Clean it up. Give it a little spa treatment. Great. So that's just my humble opinion, if you will, that if the retailer and the brand owner are the same person, it's definitely their issue. Now, okay, for ease, sure, you buy a case knife from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, you get it, it's all dicked up for a lack of it just isn't right. And you want to return it to Smoky Mountain Knife Works because that's where you got it. Absolutely, that's what it's there for. You can return knives and do it. It's easy that way. If you don't, if you would rather check out the warranty process from these companies that say they have a good warranty, then, well, give that a shot. Try that out. But in my honest opinion, who's responsible? The company, the parent company, is always Benchmade is responsible. Spyderco is responsible. Case, Rough Rider, that's kind of a bad one because it's all the same. But anyway, for me, it's the parent company that is responsible. I do not expect the warehouse worker at Smoky Mountain or at, White Mountain or Blade HQ to open every single box and look at every single knife. That is not their job. Their job is when they get an order, pull orders off the shelf, pull the stock, back it up, and send it out. That's their job. It is the company's responsibility, the parent company, Case, Benchmade, Spyderco, whoever, to put out a quality product to their retailers. And if they're not doing that, it's their QC department, QA department, however you want to call it, and to me, the company is ultimately responsible. Now, sure, like I said, if you order a knife and it's not great and you get it from, Blade HQ, that's where you order it from. You order a Spyderco from Blade HQ and it's not right and you want to return it, absolutely. They're the retailer. I get it. I totally get it. But the responsibility falls on the parent company for putting out a proper working product. Just my thoughts, just my opinions. Thanks so much, guys, for joining me for this edition of JB on EDC. I hope you guys are enjoying these. This one was kind of one that I had in mind because of my case issues, multiple case issues. But yeah, this was one I kind of had in mind to do for a while. We'll get back into doing some of your suggestions for sure. But really appreciate you guys stopping by, checking out the video this morning. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And as always, like, subscribe, leave me that comment. You know I love talking to you. Until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.